Yes, family. So Easy's back again, yeah, and this is a part two from our last conversation about the micro um organisms and the virus and etc. Yeah, so I definitely want to let you know that I made a mistake on the date of the cyanobacteria. Yeah, so when I said 6,000, not 6,000, 6 billion years old, the it was meant to be 3.5. Yeah, so it was just a mistake that I made. You know what I mean? I knew I must have had so much numbers in my head. I just threw out the number 6. But yeah, so it's 3.5 billion years ago we're talking about with the cyanobacteria that the scientists has found, the oldest fossil. Yeah, so this part two, because it's early, you know what I mean, I tried to knock it out because I got a lot of stuff I'm doing today, so I thought let me knock out this information now, and I'm going to be showing you the products that I use, yeah, to help me get through this viral this viral viruses that we're going to be coming against in this type of weather, because right now it's crap. Yeah, let me give you a look at how the weather looks in London. Yeah, it's cold. But so yeah, so Easy's gonna show you how I get through my winter and how I stayed protected by all different types of avenues that I use to protect myself against these viruses, yeah. And another thing as well, I want to show you a lot of sources, yeah, on the information that I was speaking about on the part one, yeah. So this part two is a show and prove and a breakdown, yeah. So okay, we're gonna go straight into it. So so we were talking about the microorganisms and the human microbiome, which is all the bacteria and the probiotics that's in your colon, yeah. So now I'm gonna talk about what I use as well, yeah. So I'm gonna go straight into what I use, yeah, because a lot of people might not know where to get it. So I'm gonna show you a product that I use, yeah, which is start off with this one here. Yeah, as you can see. Can you see clearly? This is 50 billion, yeah, live bacteria, yeah. You know what I mean, one a day formula, 10 strands, yeah. And then okay, so like I was saying before, that the bacteria or the probiotic that you need to be looking for to have a healthy microbiome, because remember, different bacterias, yeah, different bacterias like help out with different things. You see what I'm saying? So you have to look for a specific strain of bacteria. You can't just go out and just think, oh, I can just go out and get any probiotics. You know what I mean? You have to look at the strain, because the strain of bacteria service different parts of your body. If you're a female, you need to look at different strains of bacteria. The bacteria that you should be looking for, because are the lactobacillus, yeah, the bifidobacterium, and the acidophilus, yeah. These are the 3 names that you need to be looking at when you go buy probiotics, yeah. But the lactobacillus and the bifidobacterium are the ones that you're gonna see, yeah, because they're the most scientifically researched probiotics. You know what I mean? They've been studied for a long time. You know what I mean? And they show and the scientific evidence that proves their the health factors that they provide for the body. You see what I'm saying? So bifidobacterium and lactobacillus, yeah. But remember, lactobacillus is just a name. No, it's the name of the bacteria, but there's different strands to it. So, like, for example, I'm going to show you it, but I'm just going to read it. Lactobacillus, you got Lactobacillus acidophilus, yeah. You got Lactobacillus casein. You got Lactobacillus salivarius. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The names go deep, mate. So I will definitely struggle. And you got Bifidolactis again. Bifidobacterium lactis. And you got Bifidobacterium brevi, yeah? So this is on the probiotics that I get. You know what I mean? This and another thing about probiotics, yeah? the thing, you know what it is, yeah? It's like the problem that I have with a lot of like health doctors and all these type of things, yeah. Like they deal with a lot of treatment. They don't tell you how to actually live to avoid certain diseases or certain infections or certain viruses. They just tell you how to either treat it and tell you what the virus. No, don't even tell you how deep the virus is or any type of infection or pathogen or disease, or they don't go into it. For they ain't trying to educate you. They're trying to treat you for you to just go out to do the same stuff, the same dietary regimen that put you in that situation in the first place, so you can come back to them. You know what I mean? It's a big business out here, yeah. So that's what they're doing. They're not trying to inform you with anything. So even if they were to say to you now, oh, go get probiotics here, or probiotics, they're gonna say, oh yeah, you need to eat more yogurts. Yeah, you do need to eat yogurts. That's a fact. But if you're in any condition, you need a certain amount of probiotics imported into your colon. You know what I mean? Yogurts might not do it for you. You see what I'm saying? And it might not just be the probiotic, because remember, it's more than just to feed the probiotic, to put probiotics in your body, your colon. You have to feed them. You see what I'm saying? So, but yogurts, for example, if their doctor's telling you that you need to get more probiotics, you ain't gonna get enough. Especially if you're in the you have a condition or disease or infection that you're trying to eliminate or should get rid of in your body. Yogurt ain't gonna give you enough, yeah. 10 billion bacteria is not gonna be enough. 20 billion bacteria is not gonna be enough. So when you go out and buy these probiotics, yeah, 50 billion is minimum. So you see what I'm saying? As I showed you here on this one here, I'm gonna go deep. 50 billion is what I mess with, yeah, every day. You know what I mean? And this ain't the fact that I'm going through anything. This is just to make sure that my microbiome is on game, on board. You see what I'm saying? I feed it every morning, and there's a way, and there's a certain way that you have to feed it to your colon as well. Because if you don't do it a certain way, you will end up destroying and killing all the bacteria. So you'll be buying products like this and not knowing how to use them, and then you'll be wasting them. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna break down the science behind that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I definitely want to go in deep, because you know what it is. Yeah, it's like I listen and I watch a lot of health experts or health or people that talks upon health. Yeah, and I notice it's a common thing with them, where they will just give you information and they don't break it down. They don't, you know what I mean? They don't make you understand why you're using it. You see what I'm saying? They just say that, oh yeah, probiotic is good for you, or alkaline is good for you, or vegan food is good for you, but they don't break it down. I don't really like that. I don't respect that, I would say, yeah, because I go out my way, yeah, and I show you how it works within your body. No, not even within your body, within your cells. How your cells utilize these alkaline foods, these probiotics. You need to understand how it works and how it coexists with your cells and your body, yeah, so you can actually appreciate what you're putting into your body. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are just capping in it, just throwing a lot of words out there, and they're sounding good. They're sounding like they know what they're talking about, but half of it is just cap. You know what I mean? I want to know how our body utilize these nutrients, how our body utilize these elements, the minerals, the amino acids, how we create protein, how our muscles are made. You see what I'm saying? So people ain't gonna break down that, because I don't think I know they don't know that, because they should. Because you will hear how the way they speak, they will use like common terms that you can find in corner shops. You see it? You know what I mean? They don't use scientific terms. You see what I'm saying? And that's how you can know. You know what I mean? So okay, straight back to the probiotics that I use, yeah. So these strands of bacteria, yeah, look, I already mentioned them anyway, but these are the different types of strands. It's 10 strands, I say, yeah, and these are the ones that I use, yeah. So just look out, take note, and look out for these strands. You know what I mean? But like I said, yeah, for the ladies out there, you're gonna have to be looking for a different probiotics. You probably wouldn't be you probably wouldn't need this, or unless you're going through problems. You know what I mean? You need to be installing probiotics in your colon, even if you don't have no problems. Like, people need to understand it. You don't have to wait until you get ill to protect yourself. You're meant to protect yourself before you know what I mean? So that when you do come across these viruses and these microorganisms and these yeast and these pathogens, like, that your body's equipped to fight against them. And then you be like, for example, because you can't avoid getting viruses. You can't avoid it. You see what I'm saying? You just can't avoid it. Like, that's just part of nature. You see what I'm saying? It's like you trying to avoid it's like trying to avoid oxygen or trying to avoid nitrogen. You know what I mean? Because even up to the air that we're breathing, there's 20% oxygen and 80% nitrogen. You see what I'm saying? So when you think that, yeah, I'm breathing oxygen, no, you're not. You're breathing more of nitrogen than oxygen. That's why it ain't called oxygen that you're breathing. It's called air. You see what I'm saying? Because it's accompanied with multiple you know what I mean, multiple stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, so even up to the air that you breathe in, 80% of it is nitrogen. Only 20% of it is oxygen. You know what I mean? And now we've been told by the government that we have to stay at home for one, to wear a mask. We're gonna, you know what I mean, we're gonna increase our carbon dioxide intake, and we're gonna lessen the oxygen intake, which is only 20% anyway. You see what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a little bit peak. And the fact that I even said to you about the vitamin D is one of the most vital nutrients for black people. You see what I'm saying? For the world, but as melanin runs through our blood, DNA, this is the reason why, scientifically proven as well, that we should be able to fight off these viruses more than the European and the Asiatics. Yeah. So I explained that on the part 1, where the fact that on our cell, membrane, we have less of these receptors. These receptors are ACE2 receptors, and this is on the epithelial cell. Yeah. So the ACE2 receptors and transmembrane protease serine 2, receptors we have less of. So that means scientifically we shouldn't be going through we shouldn't be getting affected as much as the European and the Asiatic. That's a fact. That's a scientific fact. Yeah. That's why in the West Indies and in Africa, where the vitamin D is at abundance, we're not dropping like flies. You see it? It's only in this European and these cold environments that we're dropping like flies. Because one, we're eating the Western diet, which is gonna eradicate our immune system. Yeah. 2, we're not getting enough vitamin D. We are vitamin D deficient. Yeah, and that's the main cause. Yeah, or no, that's the main reason why we're coming down in the death rate. You see what I'm saying? Because we are still adapting to these cold environments. We're coming from the West Indies. We're coming from Africa with these you know what I mean? Like, you see what I'm saying? And then we're adapting to these environments. So it's gonna take a long period of time for us to actually, for ourselves to mutate and adapt to these cold environments and cold conditions and this virus. You know what I mean? So it's a lot. So I'm gonna show you a source as well. Yeah, this is a source day. You know what I mean? This day and information. Yeah, so yeah, I just want to make sure I covered a lot. Yeah, before I start breaking through some sources, because there's a lot of information. Yeah, and I want to show you. I don't want to just talk about it. You know what I mean? So salute to all the people that kicks the health and all of that, but if they ain't showing you diagrams and pictures and sources and not breaking down the diagrams and the sources of how it works within your body, then I don't know. But so we're gonna start off. I think I covered everything, because you know what? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, the part 1 that I done a part 2 the next day. Yeah, I done it live. Yeah, a lot of people checked in. Yeah, and then somehow my phone went wrong. I couldn't download the footage. And I was deleting a lot of data off my phone, and then somehow it interrupted with the Instagram, yeah. And I ended up deleting that live, you know what I mean? So I was pissed. You know what I mean? So now it's like I'm trying to give the same type of information I was giving out on the first one, because that one was a good one. But on this one, it's going to be more depth and more information and more diagrams I'm going to be showing you now, because I done prepped a little bit more. Yeah. So, oh yeah, I'm going to show you, because on the part one I was talking about how Asiatics and the Africans and the Europeans are genetically built different, and how we have the fact that we don't have the Neanderthal genetics in our genetics, yeah, and the fact that the Neanderthal genetics is the reason why they would be more vulnerable to these viruses, because the genetics, the how much is it? It was like 5% or 7% of Neanderthal DNA in their genetics. That tampers with their immune system. It plays a part in the bone structure. It plays a part in the addictive. You know what I mean? Where the fact that they chain smoke and they get addicted to things easily is all due to the fact of their Neanderthal ancestors. You know what I mean? The Asiatics got the divisions, yeah. So there's another type of archaic humanoids that they interacted in Asia. You know what I mean? So the European has a Neanderthal genetics, and the Asiatics has another archaic humanoids, which is called the division, if I'm pronouncing it right. And that plays a part in their genetics as well. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to go straight into the source of how the genetic coding of the European and Asiatics are different. Yeah. And how... Okay. So we're going to go straight into it. Alright. I want you to look at this here, family. And this is a genetic expression, yeah, of the... If we can see, can we see clearly? Why is it like that, fam? Oh, family. Okay. So, okay, this is the genetic expressions of the ACE2 receptors, yeah. Okay, let me just give you another one. Let me see. Okay, yeah, let me just show you this diagram quickly, yeah. This is the look. As you can see, the ACE2 expression score and the ACE2, the TMPRSS2 expression scores, yeah. This is male and female. This is all different ethnic groups, yeah. So, as you can see, on the ACE2 receptors, yeah, you got the South Asian, the highest, yeah. They got the highest receptors. That's what it's saying. And the African has got the lowest, yeah. As you can see, yeah. And then that's on the female, and that's on the male. Yeah, I'm going to show you the source where you can get this information from, yeah. So, and then on the transmembrane protease serine 2, you see that in the females, Africans are minus, and the East Asian is the highest. You see what I'm saying? The Europeans is right behind them, and male. Yeah. So I'm gonna show you another source. Okay. All right. This is look. This is all PDF sources. Yeah? I'm gonna give you the source, and as you can look, genetic. Yeah. That's what you can just write. Wait. Let me just show you what you can write. But let me just read this. Yeah. Yeah, the significant difference of the transmembrane protease 2 were observed by both female and male groups across the population of East Asia, and yeah, of the populations. Yeah, East Asian population had the highest value of genetic determinant of protease expressions, and the Africans shown the genetic predisposition of the lowest. Yeah, on transmembrane. As I show you that this is all from the same source, yeah. So I'm going to show you where this source is coming from, or what you can write. And this is another bit. Okay, look, this data suggests that the genetic determinates of the ACE2 and the protease, the transmembrane protease 2 expression might play in a role in the variability of the transmission of the severity of SARS-CoV-2 between populations. The African population shows a genetic, of both ACE2 and and transmembrane, which are vital for SARS entry into host cells. These data suggest that the genetic compound might contribute on the lower numbers of reported COVID case in Africa. However, you see what I'm saying? So the source of where you can get that is, where source is, well, I didn't take a picture of the source still. Well, what I would say to you to write down, yeah, because I never screenshot the source. Yeah, what I tell you to write down is the genetic difference within let me see if I can pull it up. The genetic difference. Yeah, so that's the source showing that the reason why Africans in the West Indies and Africans in Africa has the lowest count of COVID virus. Yeah, the different ethnic groups in the microbiome. No, wait, that's not the variations, because okay, yeah. Come on. Okay, yep. This is where you at. So let me show you what you can write and what you can and how you can pull up all these sources that I'm talking about. Yeah. So the variant of the spike protein in Africans and European, and then you can see all these sources here. The evolution and genetic diversity of SARS in Africa using whole genome sequence. Yeah. So this is where you can get information. There's sources upon sources that you can look at. Yeah. And they all can show you what I'm talking about. Yeah. So that's the genetic difference, yeah, within a cell. So it's more than the fact that we have melanin and we're black and we're white. Our cells are actually different in ways where it could affect us, and it can affect them. So I'm gonna go straight into the other sources now. Yeah, so it's definitely deep when it comes to the information. So why are we getting affected by this virus over in UK? Obviously, I just showed you there how the fact that vitamin D can play a major role. Yeah, so we're gonna look at dietary now. Dietary is gonna be a major factor in the Western country or Western climate. Yeah. Because for one, we're eating a lot of junk. You know what I mean? We're not using our herbs. We're not using our the roots, and we're not using the herbs. We're not using we're not getting enough sun. That's for one. So a lot of deposition that we're in right now. So okay, another thing, yeah, another source I wanted to show you, yeah. No, I didn't want to show you that. I don't want to show you that. I'm kind of losing my train of thought still. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. So, we're going to look at neural transmembrane, yeah? Neural transmembrane, yep. No, neurotransmitters, sorry. Okay. So, we understand, yeah, that vitamin D, yeah, is more than just a nutrient. It's actually a hormone, yeah, that can be produced, yeah, in your body, yeah, from being interactive with the sun, yeah. And this type of hormone, yeah, can create what you call neurotransmitters, yeah. These neurotransmitters, yeah, helps with like the factor of stress, depression, and all that, because all this is going to be playing in a role of why we're in lockdown. What I'm saying is, yeah, the government is going against science now, yeah. And they kind of neglecting science, and they're telling you to go on lockdown, don't get no oxygen, no air. They're gonna put the fear monger into people, causing depression, causing more illness, more ways of weakening your immune system. They're going to make you start using these antibiotics in your hands and while you're washing your hands. And all of this is going to create a weak immune system, yeah? So, and the fact that they're making a vaccine, yeah, is crazy because now they're not going to be looking at our genome. They're going to be looking at theirs, yeah? We understand that they have more receptors, yeah? So that means that they're more vulnerable to the viruses than us. So if they're looking at their genome, yeah, and even up to the fact that of the Neanderthal genetics in their immune system, it's going to be constructed not for us. That's what I'm trying to say. So when it comes to the vaccines, we definitely have to be more understanding of what's going on and what we're using and what's in it. Because if it's going to cause havoc to our genome, it's going to cause mad complications for us as a people, yeah. So we need to actually look at what they're actually putting in the in the vaccine, and I have a clearer understanding. Another one as well, when your immune system is weak, because they always say when you get a vaccine, they always say that you might feel ill, yeah, for the first couple of days before you start reading, because now they're injecting the strain of the virus in your genetic coding, yeah. Their scientists has come up with a way of doing it, which is called CRISPR, yeah? CRISPR, I don't know if you heard of it, but CRISPR is clustered, regularly, interspace, short, panadromic, repeat, yeah? Yeah, so clustered, yeah, regularly, interspace, short, panadromic, repeat, yeah? And what is this? This is a way that scientists here are using, yeah, to kind of adapt your immune system or adapt your genome, you know what I mean? So this is how it works, yeah? Because this is a way that scientists can actually upgrade your genetics, yeah? I don't know if they're using it in the vaccines, but CRISPR, that understanding is not a new understanding, because even up to the first form of vaccine was, I think it was an African in slavery or something. I ain't too sure, yeah, but it was African in slavery that used it, like blood of a sick person and then inserting it into their blood, yeah. So that is a form of a vaccine, you know what I mean, where you're injecting the virus genome into your genome. So for one, your immune system and your immunoglobulins can identify them. They're gonna give you enough genetic coding for your cells in your immunoglobulin to detect it and kill it. So now, so it will basically, once you get this coding in your genetics, your genetics will now upgrade the information of this new virus, yeah, and then equip the immunoglobulins and the T cells and the B cells to be able to identify when these pathogens come into your body, so it can exterminate straight away. So CRISPR, yeah, is a scientific way of doing that, where they define or they even introduce what you call bacteriophage, yeah. Bacteriophage is where pathogens attack probiotic cells, yeah. Probiotic cells are like bacteria, archaea, and cyanobacteria, yeah. So what they do, yeah, is like they can either do it natural way, yeah, because a natural way of form of bacteriophage is even up to, you know, bogey. That's how deep it gets, yeah. You know, bogey, yeah, and how kids at a young age they eat bogey, yeah. That's a form of vaccination, or a form. I won't say form of vaccination. I will say, yeah, it's a form of vaccination or a form of CRISPR, yeah. Because now, yeah, remember, viruses only can get through your oral and your nasal, yeah. So now you have hair particles coming out your nose, obviously, and then the mucus that's in your nasal, and all the bacteria that are here to protect pathogens entering into your tract, your respiratory tract, or even your esophagus. You see what I'm saying? So these microbiomes, yeah, these microorganisms that's in your nose and in your mouth are there to protect foreign invaders entering into your your respiratory tract or your esophagus. You see what I'm saying? So bogey is like mucus dried up with bacterias and viruses. Whatever comes into your nose, it gets caught up in the hairline, and the mucus consumes it, and then the bacteria fights it, and whatever the wall that goes on to stop the entry of the virus entering into your nasal and your trachea, yeah, that's what goes on into your nose and in your mouth. You see what I'm saying? So now eating bogey, yeah, is now you're gonna be eating bacteria that's been warring against the viruses that you've been inhaling, yeah, and yeah, so bacteriophage is when a virus kills or attacks bacteria, yeah. So now you're gonna be putting in your system bacteriophage. You're gonna be putting viruses that's been attacking and the bacteria and then dies, yeah, and then you're putting it into your genome. Your immune system would adapt to it, and now it's recognized the genetic coding of the virus. You see what I'm saying? So your immune system will upgrade. That's a form of vaccine. So it's crazy when people used to laugh at little kids eating bogeys and that. That's a form of upgrading your immune system. Because even up to breastfeeding, because we know when a child loses come out the womb, it get introduced to bacteria in the womb. So ladies have probiotics in the womb. Yeah, babies get introduced to these probiotics from the womb and breastfeeding. You see what I'm saying? So your womb has loads of probiotics and fighting defense systems to fight against pathogens and all that in the womb, yeah. And the men also and all that, yeah. So like I was saying, yeah, CRISPR, yeah, is where their scientists are basically using bacteria and finding viruses and then watching them go to war, yeah, in like I say, solution. You see what I'm saying? Under a microscope. Because all of this can be watched. You see what I'm saying? So that's something that I want to get into as well. So I'll definitely be going to be doing that soon. Yeah. But you will find on YouTube, you find footage of how viruses attack bacteria and a bacteria fights against virus, so you can understand what's going on. Yeah. So when viruses get killed by the bacteria, yeah, the bacteria has that genome in the cell. In the cell, yeah, and then what they do is put the genetic coding, and introduce it to bacterias, yeah, like probiotics, and then you can feed them, you know what I mean, in the form of a yogurt or whatever, and now you're just upgrading your immune system to fight against these new pathogens that the CRISPR has edited into the probiotic microorganisms that they've been studying. But that's how it works. That's a form of vaccine. Vaccine is where they give you a little dose of the virus itself, just enough for your immune system to adapt and see and find out, and then put it in their coding. Because once the virus enters and then enters your body and your immune systems catch it, is now a genetic coding. It's a law. It's a database that the immune system have gathered, so the virus can't, or if the virus come in, they know what to look for. You know what I mean? So that's CRISPR. Yeah, CRISPR is a scientific way of boosting your immune system. Yeah. So like I was saying, what I was using as well, especially in this Western lifestyle we live in, we ain't gonna get enough vitamin D out here, especially now in the winter. Yeah. So being out here in the winter time, it's going to be peak for us, yeah. So what I use, yeah, and what I give my kids and that as well, there's other forms of vitamin D, yeah. So you got something like this that you can look for, yeah. So family, you need to arm yourself with these products, yeah. This product, yeah, is you can get a B12 as well, yeah. So this is all for the vegans and whatnot, because the thing is, yeah, a lot of dietary laws that meat eaters say that the vegans are lacking. The meat eaters are lacking for the same like the D3 and the B12. So it's not about battling who's vegan and who's what and all of that. It's about arming yourself, you know what I mean? and understand the science on what goes on to your cells, yeah. So you can get that in a D3, which is all. Nah, let me show you, man, because you know what, I kind of, you know what it is. I lost my train of thought, but I realize I'm live and I can't go back. So we're gonna look at what's in there, yeah. So you got all the omega-3s, yeah, the omega-3s, the omega-6, the 7 and the 9, and then whatever's in there, yeah, the D3 and all that. This is all blended, all extracts of natural stuff, yeah. As you can see, you can definitely get this on Amazon or wherever, or your local health shop, yeah. But this is what I use, yeah. So I make sure I squirt that. It's like one squirt you can use. You can give it, like I give it to my daughter to make sure, because right now everyone's not at school, so everyone's at home. So you have to make sure you get your vitamin D somehow. You know what I mean? So either utilize food that's got high in vitamin D, which is going to be hard. Use algae, another form of vitamin D you can find. You know what I mean? It's algae, it's the seaweed and that, yeah? So, alright, we're going to talk about a little bit more about the... So that's all the... So you got the B12 you can find in that form as well, which is a squirt you can use, spray. Yeah, because spraying and that, it gets into your bloodstream quicker than any type of form of capsules and herbal capsules and all that. The oil form is always better. So tea comes first, yeah? So if you want to deal with herbs and all that, deal with the teas and all that, it gives you, like they say, about 30% of the benefits or the nutrients of the herb, yeah. Then you go into the actual the herb capsules, yeah, where you get the actual herbs and that, blend it in a powder form and you chuck it down. That can give you about 50% of that. And then the most extracted form of getting these nutrients of the herbs and whatnot is the oil form. Yeah, so always get the oil of everything. Yeah, get straight into your bloodstream and all of that. You don't have to go through the process of entering into your esophagus and all of that acid and all that. Because another thing as well with dietary, yeah, it's a little bit more deeper than just eat alkaline food and acidic food, because we need to understand the biology of how food enters into your body and how your small intestines or your body takes these nutrients. You know what I mean? Because all foods have to enter the stomach. Stomach is like 2%, 2 is it 2%? No, 2 like acidic. No, like alkaline and acidic, yeah. So your stomach acid is 2. It's 2 point something, yeah. So it's acidic. All food has to enter that acidic process before it enters into your small intestines. So everything gets eradicated regardless, you know what I mean? So, and that's been done by the hydrogen chloric acid, yeah? That's what neutralizes anything that comes in your food when you eat food, yeah? So all the bacteria and all that other stuff that comes in with your food, that exterminates it, yeah? And then your pancreas alkalines it before it enters into your small intestines, before your nutrients start actually intaking the elements and the minerals and the nutrients into your bloodstream, so your cells can eat off, yeah. So that's how it goes, yeah. So yeah, so you got other herbs that you can use that's antiviral, yeah, like elderberry. You got sarsaparilla. You got ginger. You know what I mean? So you got roots and herbs, yeah. I'm just gonna go straight for what I use, because what I use is like, I shall go for the highest intake of form of antiviral or stuff, because you need vitamin C as well. So there's another form of vitamin C that you need to get your hands on or find out about is Ace Corolla or Bajan cherry, yeah. That's a cherry that's got one of the highest content of vitamin C in cherries, yeah. So Bajan cherry or Ace Corolla, you can go in Google it and you can find it. You need to have that in your diet because you need vitamin C. These are antiviral properties that you need to fight against viruses, especially in this cold environment, yeah. So I'm gonna go into viruses, yeah. Viruses and microbiomes, yeah. We need to understand, yeah. Viruses go through adaptations, yeah. So when they enter the cell and they get into your DNA coding, they understand what your genetic coding is. So they will adapt to swivel away or to be more at a vantage point to successful on what they're trying to do in the body. You know what I mean? Because so that means that one, we need to keep on using different types of herbs and and antiviral products to outsmart the virus. So you can't keep on using the same products, the same herbs to out. Cause soon as you start getting your body start getting used to these herbs, your genetic coding is gonna acknowledge what you're putting into your body. So now your viruses can have the advantage to learn what you're putting in and when you're putting it in, so where they can go into dormant and when to come out and when they're used. Because there have been a lot of scientific research of how viruses move around and how they work to their advantage of getting away around immunoglobulins and B cells and T cells, yeah. And they found out, yeah, that virus listen, yeah, to communications, yeah. When you understand that cells, yeah, communicate through frequency waves, yeah. Cells tell other cells what to do, yeah. They do it through frequency waves, yeah. So like, for example, going into abnormal cells. Abnormal cells is a pathway to cancer cells, yeah. Abnormal cells is where they are lacking a organelle or it's a malfunction cell that is just laying there, yeah. Cells communicate to cells to tell them what to do, tell them when to die and everything, yeah. If our abnormal cell is lacking a organelle or a electron or anything that's to do with the cell where they can't communicate back to the other cells, yeah, it will just lay there. This is our potential cancer cells. So I'm going to go into the cancer cells a little bit more on another episode, yeah. But what I'm trying to say is these communication signals that the bacteria communicate to other bacteria, scientists have now found out that virus here can actually listen in to the conversation. And I hope I got that source, because if not, I have to show you that source. Okay. Let me see. Because it's crazy. Like, there we go. So, I'm going to show you that source so you can have an understanding of what I'm talking about. This source is, 2018 that they found. Viruses can wave drop on bacteria communications, yeah. So that's the source that you need to look at. So I'm trying to show you how smart these viruses are, yeah, and what they do. So if we keep introducing these same dietary regimen, the viruses can always adapt and then wiggle away through it and learn how to get around it, yeah. So yeah, it's life. It's life organisms, mate. They just learn off because like everything, like I said before, everything is trying to survive, yeah. And I definitely think I need to do a part 3 or something, because I kind of swerved off on one, but yeah, I definitely need to talk about algae. So algae, yeah. The thing is, yeah, it's like understanding the cyanobacteria, yeah, and the history of life. We can utilize the common ancestor to fight against the viruses. We need to use our ancestors to fight against our modern. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So algae come from the common ancestor of cyanobacteria. Fungi come from the common ancestor of cyanobacteria. Later on, trees and herbs and roots come from the algae, which then comes from the cyanobacteria. So it's a timeline that we have to use to utilize our common enemy that we have now, that's been birthed today. You see what I'm saying? So the herbs is good and dandy, yeah. Now we need to move back to the algae, the seaweed, yeah. So the seaweed is like the kelp, the sea moss, the bladderwracks, so that's a form of algae that we need to utilize to fight against the modern pathogens that we're going through now, yeah. So algae, so sea moss, you need to get more sea moss, because they feed the probiotics, and then they have antiviral properties, and they're also probiotics by nature. But so I'm gonna go jump straight into fungi now. Fungi is like mushrooms. You know what I mean? Mushrooms and all that. Yeah, that come from the common ancestor of the cyanobacteria. It's like, do you know how they say that we come from a common ancestor, which is the primate, and then we split from ape to humanoids? Yeah, the split between the fungi and the cyanobacteria is the split from the cyanobacteria. Yeah, no, the fungi and the algae is from the split from the cyanobacteria. You see what I'm saying? So the fungi comes later on because where this is all ground bounded. You see what I'm saying? So, and the fact that it has something called autotrophic and heterotrophic. Autotrophic is where photosynthesis comes from directly from the sun. You being out there, you can gain nutrients like we do, or you can life sustain like fungi does. Life sustain is where they can live only through the photosynthesis of the sun, like algae does. You see what I'm saying? They can just live directly just being out in the sun. Yeah. So you got autotrophic and you got heterotrophic. Heterotrophic is where it's grown, and it takes nutrients from the surrounding parts of where it's living. Yeah. So that's how that works. Yeah. Algae are both, because algae can be grown out of rocks. You see algae attached to rocks. Rocks is like the hard and concentrated content of minerals. You see what I'm saying? So algae are grown off that. They get nutrients off rocks and other things, and they also can get, well, they are the birth of photosynthesis and the father of oxygen. You see what I'm saying? So 70% of oxygen comes from the seaweed. You know what I mean? So it don't even come from trees. You know what I mean? I've heard about 30%, 40% or whatever percent comes from the trees. The other thing comes from the algae and the sea microorganisms. Yeah, so we need to understand about fungi now, yeah? So the fungi that I use, I'm going to show you a source here, or paper where you can get some information, yeah? Because I'm going to show you which ones I use. Let me go. Okay. These are the ones, yeah? As you can see, just keep these names prevalent in your head, yeah? I'm going to show you which ones I use. I use the turkey tail. When it comes to the cold and these viruses, yeah, and what you called, yeah, the reason why turkey tail is so, it fights against colds and flus and viruses and gut health and supports digestion and strengthen your immune system is because it's high in what you call polysaccharide. Polysaccharide is a carbohydrate, yeah, that can get used for antiviral properties. This polysaccharide is found in abundance in fungi. Each fungi, I use limonene as well. Look, so all these names, yeah, and you can see, yeah, the ones that I use, yeah, is the turkey tail for any fungi and any flus and everything, and the cordyceps I use because of all of this. Yep, improving Bruce, and then I use the limonene for information when I go on my. So these are fungi that we're talking about right now, yeah. So look at, and you can definitely Google them and find them. But this is all the stuff that I use, yeah. So yeah. What else? And then yeah, you have to make sure you get the sun and all that, because that's one of the main vitamin that we need. Yeah. So family, I'm going to probably do a part 3 because I know I missed out a lot of stuff, yeah, and I kind of went off on one, and I don't think I've done this justice, you know what I mean? So I'm definitely going to go and come back and do another one. But salute all the people in the chat, and I'll talk to you more, yeah. So bless and peace up.